Welcome to the Retro Show, the number one rated pregame intermission Postgame show, the side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of you pick. West of where?
West of, let's see, Lexington, Sweden.
Of where?
Lexington, Sweden.
Lexington, Sweden?
Yeah, I was watching a game from there the other day.
All right, there we go. Phil Meltzer's here. That means it's going to be a great pregame. Anthony SanFilippo remains on assignment down at the spring training. You may have heard of it. He's still down there. I believe he's back next week for So the Goalie Radio. And yeah, right, because we don't have a press road show next week. Is that correct? It's we have like a week and a half between games at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. So, yeah. Phil, welcome in. Thanks for being
here.
Yeah. Bundy should be here for the last few minutes with his keys to the game, and we'll get to predictions a little bit later on. We got to have a conversation about this team tonight, Bill, because last we spoke, a mere 48 hours or so ago, we talked about all kinds of different scenarios for this team. We also focused a lot on restricted free agents.
We did.
Which, I don't know, I don't think we'll probably do today. But I do think it is worth a conversation for the people who are playoff mindset people and for those who live in the world of tanking and getting the best pick you can.
Yeah.
The Flyers are legitimately in like the ultimate state of suspension, of purgatory right now. And if you look at it either way, there's like a conceivable path to finishing somewhere within a 5-point range.
Yeah.
And either way, you would either miss the playoffs or also miss out on the pick.
Yeah. Isn't parity wonderful?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I want to give everybody an update. And you probably, my assumption here, if you are here, you are a well-educated hockey fan. So you're probably cognizant of where the Flyers stand right now if you are living in that world of you wanting them to make the playoffs. And I won't judge you. But let's take a goosey gander here really quickly at where the Flyers are entering tonight. Okay. So the Flyers are right here. They should be able to see this on your screen. 65 games in. They've got 17 games remaining, including tonight. 34 potential points remain available. They are at 73 points. There was a Boston win earlier, which has Boston at 80 points. The Flyers have a game in hand on Boston. Detroit sits 6 points up on the Flyers. But I don't know if you've looked at the schedule. They played each other.
I haven't played them yet.
3 times.
Yeah, crazy.
3 games remaining against Detroit. They also will be playing Columbus at some point. Yeah. They'll also be playing Washington at some point. They're playing Pittsburgh again, I think. I don't know. We'll get there in a second. But the point is, if you are somebody who wakes up every day and says, you're saying there's a chance. Technically, there kind of is, I guess. You have to go on a hell of a run.
Yeah.
You all, at this point, know where I stand. Bill, you and I were pretty realistic about it on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a situation where if they go on a heater, you know, Kevin Garnett once said, anything is possible.
Yeah.
However, it's a very unlikely outcome. I want to take a look at this really quickly. So, at 73 points right now, I ran a scenario on my show where they got to 20 of the 34 points, and I thought that was actually a pretty positive way to view it. So they would finish at 93 points. And in my mind, 93 points probably has them about 3 points out of the wild card, give or take.
I agree with that. Yeah.
In a more realistic, but some would call it a negative scenario, I see them getting like 16 points. And they also still finish out of the playoffs. But 16 points isn't enough to take that inverse if you're a draft pick person, which will put them in a weird spot. But when you look at these standings right now, what does this tell you?
Well,
and who do you look at? Like, who would you say out of this is the most likely to fall out? We're going to get to strength of schedule in a second. Yeah. Pittsburgh, we know, has a tough road ahead. The Islanders have a tough road ahead. Columbus has a tough road. Are those the ones that you look at as being the most vulnerable, I guess?
Well, I start by looking in the division because if you're able, you know, a little bigger climb, right? But if you get third in your division, it doesn't matter what any of the teams in the other division do. You know, as you said, Boston won today.
Yep.
But the hardest part is there are teams you have to climb over, and some of these teams still play each other. So someone's going to get 2 points in those games, and the best you can do is hold even. And today, look at the Capitals game and what happens in that? Well, that's a 3-point game.
Yep.
And either way, it's a win and it's a loss. In a way, I guess the better scenario was that the Capitals lost the shootout today to Boston, but that gives you a little further to climb. I mean, the outlook really hasn't changed that much since Thursday. But that being said, no one figured Thursday was going to be a win. Everyone had that, whether they admit it or not, as a schedule loss. And they played a better team, and they found a way to win that game, and they're going to need to do that going forward, pretty much every game. So I think everything that we've been saying during the week still applies. Now, if you can win the next couple games before you go out west, maybe it's a little different scenario, because it does tend to change every couple of games. But the odds are still against the Flyers, no doubt about that.
And that's where things I think get really, really interesting. So I want to show people really quickly here. I just made a new layout, by the way, intern. This is going to get exciting. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's be excited together. All right, here we go. Let's see if it works. Woo! Look at that. All right, so if I can get that gosh darn ad off a Tankathon, I swear they have to make serious Boku bucks on that ad placement. Anyway, here's where you're at right now. All right, if you want to be realistic here, make of that what you will. This is the strength of schedule remaining for each team. This includes the entire league, right? Pittsburgh has the toughest road remaining, Boston second toughest, Columbus third toughest, Islanders sixth hardest record remaining, Detroit seventh, Montreal 10th, Flyers 11th. So there are teams that are ahead of the Flyers that have a much tougher road ahead.
Yeah.
If you look at just the East, there you go. Pittsburgh, Boston, Columbus, Islanders, Detroit. I mean, but Bill, to your point, how many of these teams are going to play each other? If you look at Pittsburgh's schedule, they've got Detroit once, they've got the Islanders once. If you want to look at Columbus, they've got Boston twice, they've got the Red Wings once, and the Islanders once. If you take a look at the Islanders, I don't know if you think the Islanders are, whatever,
they may fall out, but yeah.
Columbus once, Pittsburgh once, Montreal twice. Detroit and the Flyers are really the most interesting here. 3 games against each other, right?
Yeah, and just to interrupt real fast, how ridiculous is the schedule that we're in the middle of March? You have a team in your conference, you haven't played them yet. It's crazy. The whole season series is still have to play.
Correct. So, listen, I am not here to tell you the Flyers are going to go on a miraculous run for all of you playoff people, and they're going to, make you warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. I am just here to point out to you that if you want to live in that world, I am not poo-pooing, I am not raining on your parade, I am not peeing in your Cheerios. I am here to tell you, if you want to live in that world, which I think is kind of not realistic, there is a path. We have now armed you with all the knowledge and all the information you need when you go to the office on Monday to explain to people why you think the Flyers have a legitimate chance of making the playoffs. Now, Bill, the other side of that is the draft, right?
Yeah.
And that's where things are maybe a little bit more frustrating. I would say right now, I don't really care about percentages on making the playoffs or not. I think that there's a better chance that the Flyers make the playoffs than they fall into an advantageous spot in the draft lottery because of how difficult it would be to get into that spot, just to catch people up. Here's where you're at right now entering tonight. If you are one of the people who wants to see them get a player up high, like a Porter Martone or a Matt Michkov, they're at 73 points. They're at the 14th best odds. As we know, you can only move up 10 spots. You have no shot at the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick. Okay.
Where's Ottawa? Where is Ottawa? Because remember, they're going to get the last pick of the first round no matter what. So everybody else would bump up.
Yeah, that's right. So if you wanted to go to, say, top 10, have a shot to move up for that number 1 overall pick, or top 11, I think you can still qualify. It's only a 4-point cap, right? But then you have to hope that an Islanders scenario plays out 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely. To me, the sweet spot is get to 6 or 7. If you get jumped twice, you're still picking in the top 10. Does that pick do a lot to move the needle? I have no idea. I haven't started to do draft evaluation. I don't know if you have either.
I have.
How many players would you say are on their own level
going to jump right to the NHL? I don't think more than 3.
Okay.
And only one of them might be a center.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be a center. I think this wingers and defensemen are better in this draft. That's part of the whole frustrating part of it is you have to be bad at the right time too to get that player. But you just point out the Islanders. Last year they finished only with the 10th worst record, yet they win the lottery.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, the Flyers are beyond overdue for a little bit of lottery luck, but but you can't go in counting on it. And I mean, honestly, the teams that are successful in a lot of cases, these are teams that can convert these middle first round, even late first round picks into players. Yep. Otherwise the NHL would be, well, you're a top 3 or 4, 5 team at maximum, right? Other than that, you should be tanking. Yep. I mean, and that's not. So my feeling is the Flyers are going to end up somewhere in the middle again. Maybe pick around 12 to 14, 15 thereabouts, and you have to get it right. But you're not going to know that for 3 to 5 years, and that's
the tricky part, right? Like, and you could hope. I mean, listen, if there were a situation where you had a guy like last year, Roger McQueen to me was like the one that, had he been healthy, right? Yeah. Had there not been those concerns, maybe he's a top 5-ish pick, but because of the injuries, he falls. Yeah. Maybe there's a player, it happens this year, like maybe between now and the draft, there's somebody that's viewed as a top 5, top 7 guy. There's an injury or there's some other kind of concern, and that guy falls to you at 12 or 14.
Right.
The likelihood isn't very high, but it is possible.
Yeah.
And then that leads us to look at games like tonight, right? Like, this is a 4-point game potentially, right? Like, this is a game where
no question.
As you're looking one way or the other, especially if you're looking on the playoff side of things, this is a gigantic potential game for those who want to make the playoffs. It would, in fact, get the Flyers to within 2 points of Columbus. It would theoretically then get them to a spot where they're starting to knock on the door, and then you've got those 3 games against Detroit, and all of a sudden you start telling yourself, there is a chance.
For sure. Get hot, and they have to stay hot. They have to stay hot the rest of the season, and that's just the reality, right? Because that a lot of times, a team might make a push, and then they get 1 point out of 4. That's not going to work for the Flyers. They have to stay hot. I'm not saying they have to win out, but they have to come pretty close to that.
I think that if you're trying to be realistic, you kind of know where this thing is sort of heading. Yeah. If this Flyers team does what a typical Flyers team does, they're going to finish somewhere around 500. They will miss by a few points, and that'll be that. And then we'll have a post-mortem at the end of the year and say, was that good enough for this point in the rebuild? And then you get back and forth.
Yeah.
If this team does catch fire, let's just say hypothetically, Vladar continues to play out of his mind like he has throughout much of the season. Right. And you do see guys take another step. You do see Michkov kind of discover some kind of a hot streak. Zegras continues to play well. Drysdale solidifies that blue line. Eventually Porter Martone gets here, maybe for a game, maybe for 3, 4 at the end of the year. Is it inconceivable? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what exactly they would have to do. How many guys have to go on a legitimate run for this team to get hot enough to be able to make the postseason?
Well, I think you start with Vladar has to consistently, and he's done that most of the year, right? Consistently give them the chance to win. Urson has to, and he did it the last time out, but Urson has to do that with the back-to-backs. When he has to start, Urson can't have any off games. So the goaltending has to give you a chance every single game. Second piece of it is that the penalty kill's gone cold again, right? They one for 4, and I hate to be Debbie Downer about it, but just looking realistically at kind of what's been going on, right? So penalty kill only goes 1 for 4 against the Rangers. They go 2 for 3 in the game after that. and 2 for 3 in the game after that. That's not going to cut it. The PK needs to consistently go on another run where you're not giving up any power play goals for 5-6 games at a time, kind of thing, right? The power play is back to dead last in the league. At this point in the season, if you can finish 29th in the power play, 28th in the power play, that means you have to get going a little bit of a run there, because we know the problem the team has in scoring and creating offense. So special teams has to get better over the rest of the season, even on a short-term basis, and it can on a short-term basis, right? And then I think you need a couple of your forwards, Tippett, Zegras, Michkov, whoever, right? They have to continue to produce. Michkov has to be better than he's been the last couple of games. So I think you need most of those things happening, and then it's conceivable if most of those things do fall in place.
I'm taking a look over at this, and I don't see this scenario. You and I talked about offer sheets the other day.
Yeah.
And we want to thanks to Rob Ski for the super chat. Asks the question, Jason Robertson offer sheet. We talked about the idea of, like, if you're the Flyers, you're looking at Fantilli, you're looking at Carlson. Of course, you'd look at Bedard, but, Chicago's going to match anything. And probably Anaheim, you would think, would match Carlson, although they also have Gauthier. If somebody really wanted to target Anaheim, this would be the offseason to do it. If multiple teams offer sheeted a couple of their guys, right, it could absolutely wreak havoc on a team that looks like they've really expedited things in terms of becoming a competitive team.
We heard that last year, though, Russ. There's going to be offer sheet. There wasn't a single offer sheet in the league last year, and there were some pretty good players. That were out there, including a couple centers. Teams just don't like to do offer sheets, and when they do it, a lot of times it's kind of a tit for tat kind of thing. Yeah. Like with Carolina and Montreal, that was really more about a revenge offer sheet than anything else. I'd like to see more teams utilize it. You have that weapon, right? And then we talked about the compensation piece of it. But you have to have the door open to a variety of ways to get better. I don't know if the Flyers can get better enough in one off season, so you have to be creative about it.
I tend to so I was thinking about this the other day, because I like Carlson. I like the idea of him here. But when you made the case about Fantilli, the thing where I think your version of it and mine kind of line up is it's a poison pill to a team within your conference. It is a poison pill to a team that, in theory, your timeline could be similar to. If you get Fantilli, well, then cool, you have your 1C.
Yeah.
And you have your 1C who's on your timeline and everything's great and hunky-dory and good job, and you gave up 4 firsts. But, if you think you're not going to suck, they're 4 late first-round picks, and who cares?
Yeah, and you can acquire other firsts,
correct.
Too, so, yeah.
And you have, you do. You, in fact, do have.
Up. Right.
You have. So there's that, including the very complicated Toronto pick that everybody's kind of freaking out about, putting out graphics about. I'm not smart enough to understand it. So you have that. But in the case that you don't get the player, and you do offer $20+ million, because remember, what did I say? It's $11.7 million or more triggers the 4 first rounds.
Yeah.
But with the cap going up, you're probably looking at having to pay a guy $18, $20, million to poison pill. If you don't get the player, you look at Columbus and you say, right? And now you've got potentially as much as 20% or whatever of your cap already tied up on one player. To me, that is playing the long game. Somebody's got to be ballsy. Can somebody please stop worrying about the good boys, the old boys club? Somebody cause chaos, all right? Yeah. Somebody pull a little finger right now. Pull a Peter Baelish, right? And just chaos is a ladder. Like, just do it.
Well, like I said the other day, that was Homer's turf. Like, Paul Holmgren always went for it. He always took the bold move.
Yep.
Sometimes it blew up in his face, but he wasn't afraid to take risks. He made a bunch of gutsy moves over his career as GM. I think nowadays teams are so afraid to lose a deal or to tick off another general manager that they stop short of where of the best way to weaponize what your possibilities are.
Here you go. Wait, not that one. The one above it. We talked about this the other day, about the Shea Weber offer sheet that the Flyers put out back in the day. And here you have Dean Youngblood says, I love the Weber offer sheet. It set the Preds back to the Stone Age. Eventually had to trade him to Montreal. I mean, if you could do that to a team, right, like Columbus, if you think that they're ultimately going to be a thorn in your side, why wouldn't you do it? And by the way, are you making a lot of trades with Columbus anyway? I don't know. I tend to think not so much.
Yeah, you try not to trade in your division. It's a little – Columbus is a little different than trading with Pittsburgh or the Rangers or something. But, and I get teams' reluctance to do that. But ultimately, to me, what really matters is making your team better. I don't really care who you trade with. Get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just looking at – intern just pulled this one up. Joe Papel, friend of the show, typically sits down low, calls out Mike the organist for playing the Dark Haunted House. What do you want him to play, Joe? We'll ask him.
Play something upbeat. Okay. Yeah.
We haven't had that many drunk run-ins with Mike the organist this year. There have been a couple. There was the guy screaming, "Hey, organ guy, play us a song!" There was that guy. We didn't have the drunk lady who almost puked on him asking for him to play Happy Birthday in the middle of the game.
In the middle
of the game.
Yeah,
right. The Flyers had possession. I think they were on a power play. Can you sing Happy Birthday to my daughter? No. No, he can't, actually. He's not playing that.
Hughes Bunker came up to him?
Yeah. Watchy, can you play Happy Birthday to me? You didn't know I had that one in the bag, did you there, intern?
At the ready.
Yeah. Right on. All right, let's take a gander at tonight's game, I guess, Bill. So as we were saying before, and then I got off track because this is what happens. It is a 4-point potential game. Who are you looking at the most in terms of who the Flyers have to shut down on the Blue Jacket side of things?
Everything with Columbus starts with attack from the back end, specifically Werenski. Yeah. Not just in terms of the goals that he scored, he does 20 of those, but the plays that he creates. So stop him from running wide. Honestly, it's kind of the same challenge they had against Quinn Hughes the other night.
Yep.
It's hard to hold him off the board entirely, but if you stop him from dictating the play all night, because he sets so much up for the rest of the team, that gives you a fighting chance right there. So that's where it starts.
Who do you think the Blue Jackets are going to look at on the Flyers side of things? Who's their primary focus to shut down in a game like this tonight? Tippett.
Yeah.
Can we talk about him for a second?
Yeah.
Probably the most I've long been in the camp of he's the most maddening human being to watch. Yeah. There was that moment earlier this season where he's offside, right? He's standing there at the blue line and his skate like a total boneheaded move, and I'm ready to. Yeah. My head's about to explode. And he has those games early in the season where everybody's like, oh, the speed's elite, the speed. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter if you can't execute. This last, 8-game stretch, 10-game stretch, he looks like he's stylistically playing a different game. The other night, I tweeted out, he looks like a fundamentally different player. The confidence is there. He's making smart plays on the ice. Really good setup for his team. What the hell is going on that we're seeing this guy now that I think they maybe thought they were getting, or maybe it's
he's had runs like that before though, Russ. And not just with the points. This year, he's definitely used his body more. He's been a lot more physical this season. He's always had that size speed combo. Was always taking the puck to the net very well. Sometimes end to end. Now, the thing with Tip that's inconsistent is more just in terms of shooting from distance, getting the pucks on the net. Because when he's off, he's tattooing the boards, But he's been actually getting pucks on the net from different angles, different distances. And if you can ever do that with some consistency, then you're really onto something. Then you're onto that 35, 40 goal guy. His career high in goals is 28. He's at 22 now. You know what? It would not be surprising me if he gets to 28 this year and matches his career high, which would certainly bode well for the team. But in terms of saying turn the corner and this is who he is now, I want to see it for a longer stretch of time. Sure. I'll tell you, it would be sure nice to see that the rest of the season.
If this is the guy, just in theory, if the guy he's been the last few weeks is the guy that he's going to continue to develop into, all of a sudden you get naysayers like me to say, hey, we're very wrong, right?
Yeah.
You get people to say, you know what, instead of him being one of those guys that you consider as a trade candidate in the offseason, all of a sudden, well, one of two things happens. Either you say he's not somebody we're interested in trading at all, or if he finishes hot, and if that does propel them to a playoff appearance, and this organization goes, yeah, we're actually not sure that he is that consistent guy, now his stock is at an all-time high.
No question. And he has that no trade protection that kicks in on July 1st. So you have till July 1st to move him wherever you can make the right deal.
Yeah.
And it would hurt to lose him. But by the same token, you still need that center, right? And to me, that needs to be the bigger priority. And that's said from a guy that I actually really like Tippett a lot. But I think in the bigger picture, maybe he is the guy.
Now, you were mentioning how important center is, and we talked about this on Thursday. But Trevor Zegras,
yes,
you really are in the fact-finding mission right now. Yeah. And although they are trying to win every game, like if it were up to you and you're looking at this thing in terms of like being realistic, do you say we need over the next 17 games, we need a definitive answer, as definitive as a 17-game sample could be.
Yeah.
We need a 17-game sample and a definitive answer on if he's going to be a center for this team, or is it more important that they say, you know what, we are trying to win every game and they move him back to wing? What do you think is more important?
I think it's more important to take a look at him at center because, to me, if Zegras can be a full-time center, there's your 2C right there. To me, he's still not an ideal 1C, but he's a perfect 2C if he can make that adjustment. And then Dvorak moves back a line. Maybe you move Cates back to a wing. It opens up a lot more possibilities and solves some other needs. So I want to take a look at that.
I'm 100% there with you. I think that of all the guys right now that you really need to get a feel for, it has to be Zegras. And the tricky thing, too, is, listen, if he goes on a heater, he's an RFA, and maybe these negotiations that have happened all season, like maybe it comes back to bite you that you didn't sign him. If he falls on his face as a center, maybe that helps. Maybe it's advantageous I don't know. I think ultimately you've got to get that feel. You need to know as you go into this offseason, am I making one move for a center? Am I making two? Right? If a Robert Thomas kind of guy is available, if an offer sheet is on the table, which way are we going? And if Zegras is your 2C, because you're able to offer sheet or somehow get a 1C, I like your outlook for next year. I certainly like your outlook on being a team that isn't a bubble team, is certainly a team that, at very worst, is the number one wild card or something, which in theory means that you've made some kind of actual progress. Yeah, it's incredibly important.
Then I think you're ready to take the next step. If you have that 1C and 2C solve. Flyers have an abundance of pretty good bottom six guys, but you need the top six guys. So if you can check those boxes, then you're on to something. But
who else are you looking at over these 17 games? I know we talked about this the other night, but for those who might have missed the show, if you're looking at one other guy right now in terms of trying to figure out something for the end of this season, but then certainly for next year and getting a better feel for what this team actually has, who are you looking at over these 17 games that you want to see that next step from?
I still say Michkov because, if this is your franchise player moving forward, I want to see that really strong finish, Last couple games have been just okay. He has to hit that other level of consistency. I don't want to circle back to all the conditioning stuff again. But the Flyers are playing 4 games in 6 nights right now, and he looks very tired right now.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's look at the blue line.
Okay.
Drysdale's been playing really well, very confident. Sanheim has been a steady Eddie this season. Mm-hmm. We talked the other night about Juracek, whether or not he's going to get a look. We both kind of seem to think that at some point he will get a look. Yeah. If and when he does get the call up, who comes out?
Who comes out? No. Well, in the immediate term, Nick Sealer is playing banged up. Really banged up.
Yeah.
If it were a little earlier in the season, I actually think Seals would be on IL.
Really?
So maybe that's your short-term solution there. I think you know what Noah Juleson is, and even though he did have a big goal the other night, I don't think that Neil Andre's in Talk's plan. So they're your guys who take out line from that group.
If you're the Flyers front office, and let's just say that Andre isn't one of Talk's guys going forward, are you having that conversation about, look, we still would like him to play, because if he's not going to be part of this, there might be another team that is interested in him this offseason. If you have him sitting many of the last 17, it doesn't help the cause.
Yeah, and I could easily see him going to a situation where, can play the role that he plays, third pair, whatever, and you go, well, why'd we trade?
Yeah.
But yes, I could see that.
So we'll see. I think Juracek would be another one of those guys that you definitely want to get something out of. Now, the calculus on that also might change, Bill. If you get to a scenario where the Flyers are a few points out of the playoffs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they are chasing it down, and there is a realistic path, do they bring up Juracek at that point? Maybe not. Maybe you do stick with what got you to the dance.
And you justify it, okay, well, let them settle in there. Yeah. It's so easy to make the playoffs in that division. So get them in the playoffs, see kind of where that goes. Yeah, I could see in that scenario, maybe they wait till next year.
Bundy, I lost my keys. Do you have the keys to the game?
I have the keys to the game here. Yeah, you want them?
Yes, please.
All right, number 1, stay in the hunt. I'm going to thank Bill Meltzer for some of these keys today, too, in his RAV4. Always has some good extra nuggets for me. Rick Dawkins' team has set a goal to keep the games meaningful for as long as possible. Flyers can't control what they can't control, meaning the game earlier today, Boston and Washington goes to overtime. Boston wins it. Nothing you can do about that. All they can do is worry about the game immediately in front of them. Columbus is just in front of the Flyers in the standings, and if the Flyers want to go anywhere, they're going to have to knock this team off, preferably in regulation. Number 2, playing with the lead. Overall this season, the Flyers have scored first in 21 of 65 games, which is a really, really tough number to absorb through the course of the year. They've yielded the first goal in 44 games. The NHL, and they have a record of 18, 19, and 7. The NHL's 7th best winning percentage when trailing first, but not ideal. The Flyers had an off day on Friday, but a 4-6 is still a grind for this team. Scoring first and playing with the lead in this game tonight will be critical. And number 3, the Tippett factor. Owen Tippett is playing his best hockey of the year right now, and maybe his career. Has been totally dominant over the Flyers' last 5 to 7 games or so. Can he continue to be the catalyst the Flyers need to keep their playoff hopes alive?
All right, let's get to predictions. I think, did Anthony say 3-2, I believe? All right, intern.
Ant said 3-2 Flyers. I'm going 3-2 Blue Jackets.
I'm going 3-2 Flyers in overtime.
I'm going to go 4-3 Flyers. Bill?
I'm right with you, too. I have 4-3 in overtime, though, and they needed regulation, but I have 4-3 overtime.
So we'll see how this goes.
Columbus doesn't lose games in regulation a lot. They're 4-0-4 in their last 8 games.
So we can probably guess, not a regulation kind of game tonight. So we'll be back. Hey, don't worry. First intermission, second intermission, postgame. We'll be back here on the Press Row Show. Bundy and I have to have a conversation about the Radko Gudas hit on Austin Matthews, and it only getting a 5-game suspension. That'll come on a little bit later. Big thank you to Bill for joining us here at Pregame. We'll talk to each and every one of you during the intermissions postgame here on the Press Row Show.
All right, good.
Hello, we have to do a sound check here. If you're listening over on the stream, this is probably very odd for you. All right, let's see if that sounds any better. Setting 2. Intern, we're going to have to listen back to this after the fact. Let's see. Is anybody in the comments right now freaking out that there's audio? I can't tell if that sounds better or not. Got somebody saying God. All right, so we're going to compare the voice if we do this, and then we're going to turn on these other 2 settings and see if it sounds any better or worse. Here we go, and here we go. And now this is God as a 2-setting man. We'll see what sounds better or worse. All right, last time. We're going to test this one more time, intern Andrew. Are you feeling good about it? All right, no, let's see what happens when we... I don't know what this is. What does this do? We're going to find out very quickly if it works or not. And now we're going to try one more being off. If this works in turn, then we'll know. All right, well.
We just hit the post, everybody. I know you're not there yet on your TVs.
All right, we have to turn off the audio now. Thank you to everybody who dealt with us. Bye. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, west of Angola. Go Angola. First intermission.
Angola.
Bundy, how are you?
Good.
You know, a very interesting first period. We still haven't seen a replay in the arena on the hit on Denver Barkey that was initially reviewed for a major, then ruled a 2-minute minor for boarding. I gotta think that there are at least a few people in that locker room who feel like maybe that should have been a major.
I'm not one of them.
You're not?
No.
I think because he's small, vertically challenged?
I mean, the guy that hit him was vertically challenged too. So, yeah. I mean, sometimes that's going to happen, but I don't think there was a major warranted on that at all. I don't. It's easy to be on the home side of it. Like, oh, it's a major. We got to call it what it is. But it wasn't a major.
Okay.
Two guys going for the puck, and then one guy landed awkwardly. That's what happened.
And then the Flyers ultimately don't end up lucking out of that power play opportunity. It just did not happen. Funny, like on the whole, that period had some nervy moments. Flyers had a goal that initially wasn't thought to be a goal. It goes to review. It, in fact, was a goal.
I knew it was a goal right away.
Yeah.
I don't know how they missed that.
Just because of the way that it ricocheted out.
Yeah, it ricocheted in and it hit the middle bar inside the net. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a great goal. Great redirection by Bump.
Alex Bump, friend of the program.
Yeah.
How's he looked to you so far since being up?
Good. He's just playing hockey. He's not overthinking anything. That's when the problems happen when you're already in the league and then you start to think more. He's just playing right now. He's doing a really good job of it.
We had him on in
the summer, right?
The summer at Dev Camp we had him on, and then we had him on at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And when we were talking to him about what is it that the coaches have told you need to do in order to get that look, he said, I need to simplify my game.
Yeah.
I can't take a lot of chances. I really just have to play a fundamentally sound game. Kind of now, like based on what you're saying. Yep. He's not looking to overextend. He's not looking to make cute plays. He's just going out there and playing the game the right way.
Yeah.
And like when I say playing the game the right way, it's like playing the game in a way that does help your team ultimately isn't going to hurt them. And he's looked good. I think he looks really well, like really good in terms of what he's done. He's played well. He gets around the net. He makes quick plays with the puck. Yeah, I think I've loved what I've seen of him so far. And he definitely looks like a guy that, remember coming into camp, the thought was that he could push for a spot on this roster. Once Forster went down, or even with Forster's injury in the offseason, the thought was that maybe Bump would get a look. It didn't come to pass. There was also an injury, and so he didn't make the team. He gets this look at the end of the season, and you have to kind of hope, I think, that he'll be up here for the remainder of the season. That spot is open. And then eventually your hope is that you'll also get a look at Porter Martone before the season is out. So, listen, between Bump, you have Barkey that takes that penalty. Those guys so far, on the whole, I think, it's a much smaller sample size, obviously, for Bump. But those two have really stepped in a pretty meaningful way.
Yeah, they've been good. They've taken what they've done in the minors, and they've not tried to overexert themselves at the NHL level where they're playing out of their element. They played within themselves. And they both have done a good job here at this level of making it easier for themselves. Sometimes it's easier to play in the NHL than it is in the American League.
Why would that be?
Because gets too chaos, too much chaos in the minors. When a guy goes around the boards, the defenseman, sometimes the winger's not there. You got to improvise. That throws everything out of whack a little bit. There are absolute players that have played better in the NHL than they do in the minors.
There's a good question for you. Pull that one back up there, intern. Bundy, do you think John Carlson pulls a Chris Therien and returns to Washington for his last year?
I don't know if they're going to want him back. I don't know if he's going to want to go back.
After getting traded the way that he did?
Yeah, I mean, there was still a lot of good blood between me and the Flyers after I got traded. I mean, things happen in life. You get moved on and off, but I'm not sure that happens with John Carlson. I think that you make a move like that for a 17-year guy. Yeah. I don't think there's any coming back after that. He's had his run in the sun there with the Capitals.
Now, there are a few other things that we need to get to, but before we do, we're going to go over to intern Andrew for a very much looked at moment, something that people do look forward to, and that, of course, in the first intermission, every Press Row show is intern Andrew's stat of the night. Intern,
yes,
welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here. Aren't we, buddy? We're happy to have him here.
Yes, we're happy to have him here.
So, Bunny, you did allude to it in pregame. I think you said 21 of the 65 games, now 22 of the 66.
Yeah.
Flyers have surrendered the opening goal. Worth noting that the Flyers are tied with the Ducks this season for second in the league in comeback wins, both with 20 wins. Montreal leads the way with 21 comeback wins this year. And then for Columbus, Zach Werenski comes in tonight, 68 points. Once he finally gets those next 2 points, he'll be he and Panarin will be the only two players in Blue Jackets history with back-to-back 70-point seasons.
Wow.
Ever?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
I read that the first name that came to mind was Rick Nash. Rick Nash only did it once.
Really?
Yeah, Nash only has one 70-point season his whole career.
Wow.
I was
Seriously?
stunned. Yeah, got a couple 60ers, but yeah, only one 70-point season in his career. Yeah,
That seems insane.
I know. I was shocked when I read it.
I think that might actually be one of the most shocking stats of the season.
Who's that? Nash?
That Nash only
Only
had
had 70, yeah.
only one 70-point season in his career.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that.
More of a goal scorer than a playmaker, though. You know,
Yeah.
he didn't get a lot of assists. I would have thought.
Panarin, by the way, had back-to-back 80-point seasons when he was in Columbus.
Yeah.
So Werenski's really got to step up his game, is what you're saying.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He's
but
been a disappointment, is what you're saying.
no, absolutely not. Gold medalist, USA baby.
You know who
That's
else is a gold medalist? Austin Matthews. Bundy, we have to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because as a former player in this league, I think it's important that people kind of have an idea of there's kind of like the public sentiment, there's the fan sentiment, there's the social media sentiment. But like the other night, Radko Gudas very clearly extends his knee.
Yeah.
There is no intent to make a clean or
No, nothing at all.
Or up and up kind of hit on Austin Matthews. Extends the knee, blows out Matthews' MCL.
Yep.
And there was also a quad contusion, I think it said.
Yep.
Not a damn soul on the ice for the Maple Leafs come to the defense of their captain.
Yeah.
First of all, how does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
What does that tell you about that locker room or about those guys? That's the captain of all people. There's nothing.
They may just not love each other. That's usually what that means. Like, I know guys like, I didn't see it, and they were making all kinds of...
Nylander said that, and there's like clear video of him seeing it and putting his hands up.
Right, and so I don't know what they were thinking or what they weren't thinking at the time, but whenever anyone takes a knee like that, you got to get in there as a group. If you're not the toughest guy in the world, you just got to get in there as a group and let the guy know, like, you can't do that, and try to make some hay out of that situation. But they didn't. There was no response at all. I thought the 5 games is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's embarrassing. I mean,
a phone call
interview, which you can only get a maximum of 5 games if you get a phone call.
And the second that came out, it was like, he's going to get 5. But how the hell does that?
That should have been a 10 to 15 game suspension.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
There's clear intent. I don't know. Let me ask you the uncomfortable question, right? Like, this isn't to be sensationalist. We could do this in a way that's sensationalist, but like, there was that media sentiment coming out of the Olympics about the American players and about the White House visit and all that, and that there are a lot of Canadians who are very upset with like the geopolitics right now. That can't possibly play a role in why those guys didn't go to bat for Matthews when he got taken out, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Not
at all.
Like, I'm just trying to understand how the hell you don't stand up for your captain in that situation.
Nobody responded.
Like nothing.
Just get in there. All you got to do is let the guy know that you know what you did, and then you play physical the rest of the night on their top players. That's how you do it. You can't go after another guy's tough guy. What you do the rest of the game is you go and you line up Leo Carlsson, you line up Cutter Gauthier, and you run them.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how you do it. That sends the message back. But initially, 4 guys that were down there should have gotten in. Let Gudas know that's a dirty hit. Do something about it. And in the rest of the game, make their skill guys pay whenever they have the puck.
It's just crazy.
Not dirty.
Yeah.
Not dirty.
Oh.
But make them play a game they don't want to play.
You want to talk about dirty or not dirty? You know the clown up in Toronto, the guy who said the guns and tanks line?
I don't know who that is.
The guy who was yelling and screaming.
Steve
Dangle. The guy who's
I've never heard of this guy in my life, so I don't even know who he is.
He's a joke.
Did he ever play in the NHL?
No.
That's a big fat no.
Right, okay. So there you go.
Bundy, but you're going to love this. So you just said you make that play, right? Like you lay a clean hit. Clean hit on a Gauthier or a Carlson.
Or
right?
you just make their night uncomfortable. Let them know that there's no space on the ice.
Yep.
And you finish them every chance you get.
All right, so I'm going to play for you really quickly the aforementioned Steve Dangle, who I would say is resident jackass #1 in all of hockey commentary. He even passes Biz, who has a lot of dumb things to say. I want you to hear what Steve Dangle, who has not played in the league, to your point, listen to what he had to say about what they should have done, what the Maple Leafs should have done to Gudas, should have done in the aftermath. Here was Steve Dangle.
You skate up to Leo Carlsson in warm-up, and you ask him which knee he wants.
So like,
yeah, not the brightest bulb in the.
Ask him which knee he
Hey,
wants.
I was just wondering, which knee would you like to keep? Because I'm taking one of them out.
Like, how stupid.
That's too good, man.
They brought guns and tanks to the border.
It's amazing. All of a
Which
sudden,
knee
he
do you
wants to
want?
stand up for Austin Matthews. The tone has changed in 2 weeks.
Was that I thought that was a joke because Austin Matthews can't stand on his own right now because of the knee injury. I was gonna get you canceled, intern, but no.
I'm saying he's standing up for Austin Matthews when 2 weeks ago he was telling him he was the worst person ever.
How the turntables. Office night. Michael Scott line.
Why do you think Matthews? Why do you think Matthews? Why would he want to stay in that media market?
I wouldn't.
Nope.
No.
Does that let's actually build off that, because when all this stuff was going down, there was the thought that like the Brady Kachucks of the world, the Austin Matthews of the world, they might not be long for staying in Canada. If you're Austin Matthews and you've put as much on the line as you have for that team, and you've been the captain of that team, and then you go through the firestorm through the media after the Olympics, and then a dirty hit happens to you and none of your teammates come to your defense.
Yeah. Not a good look.
Does that expedite, like, if he was already kind of like, maybe this isn't the right place to keep going, does that change it? Maybe I'm petty. If it were me, I'd be like, man, do I want to be here with these guys? Nobody stands up for you?
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, I think it's been a difficult year for Toronto in general. Their team has just not responded. Matthews has not had a great year. I mean, even before the injury, he'd got a ton of games without a goal in succession. So, I mean, it's not been a real party in Toronto at all this year. It's been a struggle, to be honest with you, and they've had to find their way through some rough waters. But I don't think, because nobody went in there, I don't think that's going to make Austin Matthews say, I'm leaving town. You can get other guys that'll get in there for you in the offseason. But, I mean, for whatever happened, I don't know why that happened. I have no idea what they were thinking. But I don't expect Matthews. I don't expect him to be in Toronto a whole lot longer anyway.
You look at what happened up there, and then you look at the Denver Barkey hit in this game, right?
Yeah.
Originally ruled, a review for a major, and then it's a 2-minute minor for boarding. Initially, the Flyers don't skate over, and they don't decapitate the opposition, right?
Right.
But I think the guys either look up to the board or it gets communicated that Barkey's down and it was a bad hit or whatever. And so I don't remember who it was, but somebody did go to chase after the guy. Like, then the crowd starts getting up for it, right?
Yeah.
It's a delayed reaction, but it's still a reaction.
Yeah, it is. And I could tell nobody in that case there, when I looked at the ice, they didn't really know what happened to Barkey. He just went in the corner and he got upended.
Yep.
So, sometimes, and the other thing, too, is you got to be careful. Like, there are good hits in the game, too, where you can't have 4 guys going after somebody for a good hit.
Yeah.
Like, that happens too many times where guys are getting taken out now for laying a good hit. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yep.
But, I understand sticking up for your teammates and being a good teammate for your guys. It's a good look. It builds character. It builds team. It builds your team. And it was a good response that they had for Denver Barkey tonight. You don't have to go take yourself out of the play and put yourself in the penalty box. You don't want to do that.
Yep.
There's a power play coming to you.
We also have to see what Barkey's time looks like in the second period. I know that there were people asking if he got back out on the ice. I didn't
see him go. I saw him go up the tunnel.
Yeah.
He went up the tunnel right away, so I don't know we'll see what his status is at the beginning of the second period.
Hopefully he's back out on the ice and everything's fine.
Yeah.
We'll keep everybody posted with that if we see anything down here in the arena. I'm sure in a lot of cases with injuries, it's a little bit harder for us to kind of discern what's happening. If a guy is in the tunnel and we can't see him from our vantage point, sometimes on TV, they shoot video down the tunnel. So sometimes the people watching at home actually have a little bit of a better vantage point on it than we do, but we'll keep you posted if we can hear anything. All right. So tied at 1. Flyers fell behind. They had a nice play by Bump tie this game up. What do the Flyers need to improve on in the next period? I would argue that first 13 minutes of the period, it felt like an onslaught of high danger chances against Vladar.
Yep.
Probably shot suppression has to be a bigger focus this period.
Yeah, they got to keep the shots down. I think Columbus, when I looked, had like 12 shots late.
Yeah.
It's not on the board right now.
It was.
Was it 12?
Yeah, it was like 2-1.
Yeah, and they had some high danger chances. So I think the Flyers need to do a better job of keeping the middle empty. There was too many chances in the middle of the ice, and I think that's where Columbus was trying to make their hay. And Vladar he made some really good stops in that period.
Even on the goal that ended up getting allowed.
Yeah.
I mean, you think he made 3-4 saves?
He did.
They had a couple of guys.
That was a battle in front of the net.
Line.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was the 5th shot.
It might have been because they had a flurry of shots in that sequence. But Marchenko finished it off in that. But I think the Flyers have been just they haven't been tight enough in their D zone, especially on a couple of rush chances. They've got to tighten that up.
All right, we will be back here for a second intermission.
I didn't see Barkey come back out.
You don't see Barkey on the bench?
No.
Are you sure?
Not 100%, but I didn't see him.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for him in the beginning of the period and report back to you guys.
Fingers crossed the young man is out there. All right, we'll be back second intermission and post game here on the Press Row Show. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. I don't know, share the link to somebody else in your Flyers-related family or friends. We'll talk to all of you here in the second intermission here on Press Row Show. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Circle, north of the equator, and west of Albania?
Austria.
Ah, nice spot. Austria. I'll tell you what, game's getting chippy. The Flyers went through. Let me take a gander real quick. Yep. So there was a good chunk of that period that had gone by, and I looked at you and I said, wow, they got 2 shots the entire period.
Yeah, how many do they have now?
They're up to 11.
Yeah, so they had five that period.
5 for the period. But that went on a little bit of a flurry at the end of the period. And most notably, I guess, Denver Barkey getting mixed up in it again.
Yeah. Hey, he did return.
Yeah.
He did return.
He sure did. Ends up drawing a cross-check. And there were a couple of moments there. Flyers were on the power play. Barkey gets taken down to the ice, gets cross-checked while he's on the ice. Did they call the same cross-check for twice on Barkey?
I think so. Wasn't it Werenski? No, but I thought Severson had one too.
I thought so too, but he got cross-checked once. It looked like the officials missed it. Barkey's down on the ice, and as he's trying to get up, he gets cross-checked down. Listen, you take what you can. So the Flyers are going to start that period, the third period, on a power play with, I think, about 3:30 or so.
They got about 3:35 or something like that left on it. So this is a power play that's really fumbled for them lately, too, that has not been good.
It's been rough.
They're now last in the league on their power play.
Somewhere Rocky Thompson is smiling. Smiling, I say.
Strange, huh? How the power play hasn't gotten really any better.
It's crazy. I mean,
it is.
You can make a case about it, I guess, the top end talent and such, but this is just almost unprecedentedly bad. And the weird thing is that it's been a few years too. It doesn't matter, apparently, who the coach is, who's running the power play unit. It doesn't really matter who the personnel are. The man advantage is truly a man disadvantage.
Well, they got a golden opportunity here. I mean, a 1-1 game, playoff style game, huge implications in the standings. You got a 3.5-minute power play. You've got to make this count somehow.
100%. Now, I have to tell you, something happened in that at some point earlier on in the game that I want to get to. But before we do, it's a good time to bring on intern Andrew. Now, with Ant out, it's not a musical trio. It's just a duo.
Right.
A little duet. How do you want to go about it? You want to take the bass line?
I'll take the bass, yeah.
All right. One. Intern.
Yes, hello, everybody.
Hi, hello. Trivia time with intern Andrew. Yeah, I think that sounded pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds good. Trivia time with intern Andrew.
We're in lockstep there. Tell me you got something good.
I think this will be good.
Okay.
So the Columbus Blue Jackets entered the NHL the same season with the Minnesota Wild. They were the 29th and 30th teams in the league in 2000. So because of that, there was an expansion draft in 2000. Teams were allowed to protect 1 goalie, 5 defensemen, and 9 forwards, or they go 2 goalies, 3 defensemen, and 7 forwards. The Flyers elected to do the former. And Bundy, you should be flattered. You were one of the 5 defensemen that the Flyers protected.
Okay.
Can you name the other 4?
That was what year again?
2000.
Okay, well, Desjardins.
Yes.
Luke Richardson.
Yep.
Dan McGillis.
Yeah.
And Andy Delmore.
All right. I had a feeling that'd be too easy. So follow-up. Okay. You know the 2 teams that were exempt from the expansion draft. They were allowed to protect their entire team.
Atlanta?
Yes.
Trying to think of who else came in with around the Atlanta time. Boy, I really smoked this trivia tonight, haven't I? Good thing Russ said we had a loaded show in the second intermission.
I've got 2 other topics.
I have a part 3 if needed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Part 3, I'll be stunned if you get.
So
I'm going to say who came in around the late 90s. I'm going to guess Atlanta, Nashville.
Yeah. If you get this, I'll be very, very impressed. So who were the players, or the one player that the Wild and the one player that the Blue Jackets got from the Flyers in that expansion draft?
Oh, good one.
And here's the thing. Neither of these guys played a single game in the NHL.
Really?
So if you get this, then you're cooking.
I won't get it.
All right.
I won't get it.
Did they ever play in the league, period?
No, not at all.
Oh.
So they picked up a couple guys off the minor league team, and they never used them in the expansion draft.
Nope.
Wow. Wow. That's unbelievable. Yeah, no, I don't know because I probably wouldn't even never be able to guess the player.
Somebody actually got this. They need to be vetted to see if they cheated, though, because if they actually know this,
Is that the MRA?
that's amazing if you actually know that.
Martin Streit and Artem Anisimov?
So here's the thing. It's a different Artem Anisimov. It's not the same guy that played for the Blue Jackets and Blackhawks.
That's the answer, Martin Streit and Artem Anisimov?
Yeah.
I've heard of Artem Anisimov, but probably not this one.
That's what I'm saying. It's a completely different guy. They have the same exact name.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
If MRA actually knew that, that's very impressive. I'm thinking they cheated, though.
Yeah.
That guy wants to get your attention.
Yeah, just after the show.
Because that's
Come
fine.
on, man. Jesus.
While the show's going on. He wants an autograph. He wants an autograph while the show's going on.
Does he not see us broadcasting here?
I mean, he waved us on, by the way. He was so excited. It's like one thing. You know, if you have a little kid, right? Little kid wants to high-five Bundy, right? That's one thing.
Some 60-year-old dude like waving at us to try to get our attention while we're in the middle of calling the second intermission.
This guy's going to hear it back and be like, I'm 53.
What does he want you to sign, though? His jacket is...
No,
I guess there's an orange sleeve.
It's the orange sleeve.
You say that most of the jacket is black.
Look at her.
She came as a fan tonight.
She came as
a fan.
Good for her.
You both did.
Holy smokes.
Our security crew
What
came
is
as
going
fans
on
tonight.
Wait, can they remove you guys or no? Well, who's protecting us then?
Nope, nobody. Yeah. That's a riot.
Some of our most trusted security people who keep us safe every game just wandered up here. I didn't even they just wandered up here, and they are here as fans tonight.
They're here as fans tonight,
and
yeah.
when Andrew said who's here to protect us,
They went
nobody.
in unison as if it was rehearsed.
This dude's still staring me down.
They decided that they wanted to be the Maple Leafs. We are Austin Matthews. No one is here to stand up for us. That's what happened. Security is standing in solidarity with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I just like tripped out there for a second. I was like, I know I recognize these people. I can't remember from where.
Yeah.
Is he still there, that dude right behind me?
He sure is.
Okay.
I feel like this is going to be a thing after the fact. This guy might go on the Wall of Fame. The fan Wall of Fame.
I don't want to look back to my left.
I don't blame you.
So, do you want me to take you to the other part of the show why I said it was a loaded show?
Yes.
I want to let people know something that happened here. An intern, by the way, great job. Absolutely fantastic job on the trivia tonight.
Thank you.
First two, legs Bundy got, but, the third one, listen, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. So good job on you. I have to tell you about something that happened earlier in the game, and it involves Bundy. So I don't remember what I was trying to tell Bundy, but I called over to him, and it was like something that was like not totally inconsequential, right? Like it was a thing. And so I called over to him, and he never does this, but he gave me like the one finger up, like the hold on. And usually that's like if he's paying attention to like his daughter's basketball game or like something really important, right? What were you looking at when you did this?
I was trying to make sure I got the right flyer underneath that shell.
Under the pretzel. It's the pretzel shell game. I swear to you, I don't know if I've ever seen Bundy look as intently at anything. He was locked in.
I wasn't losing it tonight. That poor kid got it wrong, too. Initially, they helped him out. But
That poor little kid, he was like, 1! And the whole crowd goes, no! You just hear everybody losing it. And then the guy who does the in-arena stuff, he's like, are you sure about that, buddy? He goes, 1! He's like, are you sure? And everyone's going, 3! And thankfully, the kid gave into peer pressure, and he picked number 3. That was one thing that happened. Then we had something else happen, Bundy. I would think that you would get this one, but he did not. A Gwen Stefani song came on.
Okay.
Okay, you know Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, hey, I'm going to go see her in concert, taking my wife for her birthday.
Okay.
Out to the Sphere in Vegas. So I was like, going to go see Gwen Stefani. And he goes, oh, really? I said, yeah. No doubts playing at the Sphere. And he goes, oh, she's not the headliner?
I didn't know she was in the band. Never knew that.
Oh, man.
I just thought she was a solo act. Never knew that.
It's not quite Peter Forsberg, but we're building a case.
That's close.
Now, you had a question for Bundy that had nothing to do with the game. I promise we will get back to this game in a second. But he brought up a really interesting thing.
So I've been wondering this for a while, and then I just forgot about it. And then when Grunstrom went at it with, I think it was Fantilli there.
Yeah.
It reminded me. I like watching the UFC, but I really don't know anything about like fighting, obviously. But just watching UFC, those guys fight, and then watching hockey players fight, they look very, very different.
Yeah, but
so I'm wondering if being trained in MMA would translate it all to hockey. So the question that I posed to Russ was, if Dustin Poirier and Wayne Simmons got in a fist fight, obviously if they're both on their feet, Poirier wins. But if those two
Poirier
guys,
like the same weight class, give or take, as Simmons?
Simmons probably weighs
bigger.
more than
Simmons is bigger than Poirier. Yeah.
But if those two guys were to fight each other on ice skates, who would win?
Wayne Simmons.
Okay. How do you figure?
Because first of all, he knows how to skate. I don't know if Poirier knows how to skate.
Let's say he does. Yeah.
Let's say he does. I still give it to Wayne Simmons because he has better leverage. He's been skating longer. Played in the NHL. Knows how to shift his weight and the skates back and forth in a fight. I would say that. I wouldn't go. And also MMA they have a ton more moves they can use in a fight.
Right, but I was saying
use their feet and everything.
For the sake of this argument, they're not allowed to do that. Like strictly punching.
Yeah, I think an NHL tough guy would beat an MMA guy on skates.
Okay.
I do.
So I guess it doesn't translate that.
I thought it was an interesting thought.
No, it would not translate on the ice. Okay. No, it would not.
See, my thought initially, before he said they have to stay up and fist fight, was Poirier would do whatever he could to try to leverage Simmons down to the ice, and then you're in a ground and pound game. But
right.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of like guys going toe to toe in MMA.
Yeah.
But in hockey, there's a preference sometimes. Like he may want to open up and go toe to toe with a guy. That changes the whole equation because there's no skill involved in that except you having a willingness to take a punch. So, there's a lot of different scenarios, but I would put my money anytime on a trained hockey guy over an MMA guy on the ice.
Okay.
And there you have it. This is why you watch the Press Row Show. You never know what we'll talk about. But we will get back to the game here. This is a playoff type of hockey game. It actually has that feel.
It does. It feels like a playoff game. It's got, it's ornery. There's guys are ornery after every whistle. They're really getting at it. I thought the Flyers kind of got some life in them. I think towards the end of that, the second half of the second period, really got their legs under them. I think a little bit better. They're going to have to keep doing a good job in Columbus. One thing they improved on that period, the Flyers, they kept a lot more stuff to the perimeter. They were not allowing all those chances on the inside like they were in the first period. So I think the Flyers have really picked it up in that department in the second period. They're going to have to do more of the same. Everything's going to hedge down to this power play, though, to start the third period. That's going to be critical.
And it kind of feels like that really could be the make or break moment in this game if you're trying to win. And let me get back to the chippiness of this game. We've seen some almost fights. We did see Grunstrom get into a scrap in that period, right?
Yeah.
When you're in this kind of game and both teams are actively trying to win, they know that it's a potential 4-point swing. Do you expect there to be less of that in the third period?
Yes.
Okay. It'll still be chippy, but you don't expect guys to drop the gloves.
I don't think you're going to see as much of that in the third period as you did in the second. It's kind of a setup period, the second, trying to get your supremacy in the hockey game, and I think things will tailor down a little bit. We'll see what happens with this power play first here at the beginning of the third period.
Okay. It'll be a very, very interesting thing to note whether or not the momentum of the game shifts with how this power play goes. Because you have to think, if you're the Flyers, obviously it is of absolute importance that you do execute here and execute early. If they don't succeed, then it feels like Columbus all of a sudden probably gets their second win, right? Like that's what you kind of fear. Does this game have the potential to you of being a more open third period?
No, it's going to stay in a playoff. I think it'll be a playoff style format. I won't be surprised if this game goes to overtime. Actually, I said Flyers pick it in overtime. I think this game probably has overtime written all over it. I hope I'm wrong. Hope the Flyers take it in regulation, but for some reason, Columbus goes to a lot of overtime games. So do the Flyers, and the way it's going right now, it may have it written all over it.
Well, it's 9:39, and we've got like 3 minutes here, so that's 9:42, and then you've got at least 20 minutes, right? So You're after 10, and then there's the breaks and all that stuff. We're probably looking at the game ending somewhere around 10:20, maybe, right?
No, keep going.
10:15, 10:20, but then if it goes
How about like 10:30?
But if it goes to overtime.
No, regulation will end at
You
10:30,
think
and
so?
then the overtime
All right,
will start.
overtime.
Yes.
So you think we're back on here for postgame around 11?
I don't think this game will end. The actual game will end with overtime until 10:45, 10:50.
Intern, make sure
Check
you
it
write
right
that down.
now. It's 9:40 right now, real time. I say that this game, if it goes to overtime, won't end until 10:45.
We'll see how close Bundy gets. Hey, do us a favor. Drop in the comments section what time this game is going to end. Let us know if you think it's going to end in regulation or overtime. And what time on the clock will it be? Remember, if it goes to a shootout, it could go to a shootout.
Yeah, I'm including the shootout.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll be back post-game. Don't worry. We will be. And don't forget, this Wednesday, we're going to be in Northeast Philly at Chickies and Pete's, 6 o'clock on Wednesday. You mark your calendars now. Make sure you come back and join us. What is it? 8 a.m. Nick Abe, what are we doing? 8 a.m. Good God. Your Aunt Maureen says 11 o'clock. 10:25 in regulation. All right. Keep dropping them. We'll see whoever gets closest. We'll be back post-game. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified whenever we go live in an episode of the show. And go find the last episode that I did with Bill Meltzer on Thursday. That's now available in the podcast feed as well. All right, we'll talk to all of you post-game here on the Press Row Show. I didn't even ask about the first 5 minutes of the period. We already know.
Score a goal in the power play. That's
goal.
it.
All right, talk to all of you post-game. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame and intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of, I don't know, west of any place that might have had a win tonight.
I don't know anywhere west that had a win of us tonight. Maybe the Islanders. They're west of us, right?
They are. They're east of us.
No, they're west. Aren't they out on the island? They're east.
They're east of us.
Yeah.
So no, that would work because then we'd be west of the
west
island.
of the island.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
There we go. We got geography. We got a compass.
There we go.
I'll tell you what, we're in a good shape here. We're in good shape. So this was a story of many games within a single game, Bundy. The first period was a largely painful one for a good chunk. A ton of opportunities for the Blue Jackets. Flyers ultimately draw a level in the game. Alex Bump with a good goal. Second period, a little bit better job of shot suppression. Third period, they didn't ultimately score on that power play. They started with like 3 minutes and 30 seconds or so to go on the power play in the third period.
Yeah.
We said how important that was going to be for them. They didn't score. The momentum didn't totally shift to Columbus, but that third period was kind of back and forth. Overtime was weird, very possession-based, as it typically can be.
Yep.
A lot of just retreating into.
It was a
into the
boring
respective
overtime.
zones. Yep.
The 5-minute overtime was terrible tonight. I don't think anybody had a real golden opportunity.
The shootout, largely uneventful. Michkov fails to score. Zegras fails to score. Konechny fails to score. And it's Marchenko who ultimately nets the winner. Marchenko who also laid that hit on Denver Barkey earlier in the game that led to a little bit of a fracas. So I don't know what you make of this one, Bundy. Like, we came into it saying it's a 4-point game.
It is.
You do pick up a point, so in theory it keeps you sort of on pace in a way with the teams that you're chasing down, but this is one that probably hurts to
this one hurts.
Get both points.
This one stings because initially what you're thinking is you want to try to get the 2 points in regulation. Problem with Columbus, they just don't lose in regulation. They don't. They're 5-0-4 in their last 9 games.
Yep.
So that just tells you a little bit something about where they're at as a group right now. I thought they had a good first period. I thought it was level play the rest of the way through in the second and third period. I thought the overtime was even too. It's just that Marchenko just beat Vladar on the shootout, on the only goal in the shootout tonight. And that's the way it goes sometimes. I thought Jet Greaves played really well for Columbus in net. Did a great job in the shootout tonight, too.
I'll tell you what, I think you give both goalies pretty high marks tonight.
Yeah, they both played very, very well.
And they both had moments in this game where they faced a barrage of shots. I think Vladar certainly had more work on the night, but I don't know. It's a sort of maddening result if you're a Flyers fan.
It is. It's not a good feeling. It's not.
It's the kind of result that pisses off the playoff hopefuls and the tankers alike. You get the 1 point. Columbus, this is a tough one. It is. And you're a week and a half away from coming back into this arena. Flyers are going to go out west. They don't have a game until next Wednesday when they're out west taking on Anaheim, Cutter Gauthier, and the Ducks. Then they play the next night in L.A. against the Kings. They get a night off, and then they're back at it on Saturday against the Sharks. Then you come back home to play this Blue Jackets team on the 24th.
Yeah.
So it's that game is going to be vital. I mean, you have no idea how this is going to play out between that 3-game road trip. But if you're able to come out of that, 2-0-1.
You're going to have to come out of it 2-0-1 or 3-0.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go sweep that West Coast trip. I mean, easier said than done.
Sure.
But that's the mission. That's the mission on this trip.
If you can do it, then you come back and that Columbus game will be huge.
Yep.
If you fall on your face on this West Coast trip, I think it's probably fair to say it's done and dusted. At that point, you'll know that the dream or the hope of the playoffs is probably done at that point. So it's as critical of a trip as you're going to have.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And the Flyers have to find a way. They're going to have to find a way to score first in these games. They just chase so many hockey games. It's just so taxing on the group as a whole to come back night after night after night to try to battle back.
Why do you think why is that such an issue for this team?
I have no idea. Nobody knows. You could go ask a GM. He won't be able to tell you either. He won't. There's just sometimes it just works against you. I don't know why, but it's a terrible stat to have.
Do you ever play on a team like that?
I can't remember one that gave up that many goals first in a game where you're chasing hockey games. I might have, Russ. Not saying I haven't. I just don't remember anything being like that.
Yeah,
really hard. Really hard.
Like on one hand, you give the team credit because they've picked up so many wins. What was second most wins in the league when they fall behind?
Second most comeback wins.
Second most comeback wins. And yet, like that also typically to me indicates that you're not a particularly good team.
You're falling behind a lot.
Yeah, that's tough. It is. Now, we came into this game when we were looking at it, Bundy, like in terms of the playoffs, and let me see if this has gotten updated or not since did the Detroit game go final?
So the Stars beat them in overtime.
Oh, they did. Okay.
So the 2 wild cards right now are Boston, Detroit. They're both at 80 right now. The
80 points.
Penguins are in third in the division with 79.
Okay.
And we're at 74.
All right. So the Flyers are now they're 6 points back, just like they were at the start of the night. They had.
I think it's 5 now because, like I said, Pittsburgh's at 79 right now.
Oh, you're right.
We got to
you're
74.
Right, dog. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah,
Metro.
Like
I was looking at the wild card.
Penguins are right in the middle of that gauntlet still. So
yeah,
what's their record in the last 10? It's not good.
Mike.
They are
4-3-3.
4-3-3.
2-game losing streak.
Yep,
we got that.
They're 4-3-3. I mean, listen, it's funny in a way. You can almost see a more plausible path to that third Metropolitan spot.
Say that again.
You can almost see a more plausible path to be in that third Metropolitan Division team, right? That because I expect that the Penguins are going to fall out, right? They're in this hell stretch for them. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh falls out there, and then maybe it is Columbus that jumps up and takes that spot for a bit. You go out on the West Coast trip, and then maybe you're having that conversation. Like a lot can happen, right? We're talking about the difference between 1 point or 2 points, right? Between Pittsburgh and Detroit, between the third spot in the Metro and the second wild card. But you entered the night 6 points back of the second wild card.
Yeah.
You end tonight 6 points back of the second wild card, 5 points back of third place in the Metropolitan Division. So if you want to feel better about it, I guess you haven't really lost any ground.
Do we know when Detroit gets Larkin back?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, him and Andrew Kopp are 2 weeks.
Okay. So that kind of looms large. And
yeah, I mean,
and the Flyers play Detroit 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
Between now and the end of the year. So like that could also be incredibly interesting.
It could. Yeah, it absolutely could. I mean, we'll see how they fare and if they're healthy when we play them. I mean, that could make a big difference. 3 times is a lot of games, a lot of points.
Coming into tonight, Columbus was 5-1-4 in their last 10. Ottawa 6-2-2 in their last 10. Detroit 4-5-1 in their last 10. Although that's going to change now after 4-5-1 in the last 10. That'll change now. Bundy, we won't talk again about this team until they're about to start that West Coast swing against Anaheim. If you had to look at it right now, you said they have to sweep it. Of those games, of that Anaheim, Kings, Sharks stretch, what do you think is the most realistic outcome?
2-1.
You think so?
Those 3 on that 3-game gauntlet?
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to win all 3? I don't know. I mean, LA's fighting for their lives. Anaheim's in right now, but they're still battling for their lives. They've got nothing guaranteed with their playoff spot. Yep. And San Jose is just a point back. They won tonight. So, I mean, everybody out there is battling like the Flyers are for their playoff lives.
Sharks are in a playoff spot right now.
They are, yeah.
They got the second wild card.
Yeah, second wild card, yeah.
So it's not going to lighten up. It's not going to get any easier. I mean, if you look at the Flyers' schedule over the next few weeks. So we said Anaheim, Kings, Sharks, all in it. Blue Jackets, very much in it. Blackhawks,
no.
Red Wings, in it. Stars, in it.
Yeah.
Capitals, no.
Capitals are in it.
But
they're in it.
They are. There's part of me that kind of wonders how things are going to fall for them.
But we'll see, right?
We'll see.
But they're still there.
By that point, maybe they are, maybe they're not. Red Wings again, Islanders, Bruins, Devils, no. Red Wings, again, Jets, Hurricanes, Canadians. Like, there is no lull in this schedule. For as much as we've talked about in recent games, Pittsburgh's got this, hellacious gauntlet. You look at the Flyers schedule, there are no real cupcakes on there. So if the Flyers are to make the playoffs, they are going to have to earn every single point.
Every one of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Nothing will be
They
gifted to them.
They don't have a lot of room left for error. They're running out of room for error. So
It is crazy, though, Bundy. I think we'll probably end on this, but like, where would this team be without Dan Vladar?
yeah, it'd be a great question. He's done so well this year for this team. Picked up a lot of points for the team, especially early in the year when he was really he was stoning teams. Yeah, I mean he's the MVP of the team this year. I mean, season could end right now, he'd still win it. He's been that good and that important
100%.
to this Flyer team.
100%. All right, I'm thinking that might be.
Way to let that last elevator crew go down there, Russ.
There, I'll tell you what, we had some interesting people.
It was a few people a little overserved here tonight, perhaps.
We had the one guy who full on waved at me, an intern, to get your attention, to get you to sign his sleeve.
Right in the middle of our show.
Right in the middle of the show. We had that with the ladies over here.
They had a few.
They did.
A few dozen.
They had a nice night, I think.
They had a good time. There's no doubt they didn't get cheated on their Saturday night.
They also did note they noted how late the game was running.
They did know that. It's like, how long is this game taking?
But they also didn't seem to realize that there were all these games have gone so late. And we did have a late start at 7:30.
And remember the group before we even started tonight?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
The group of guys, when they came off the elevator,
They were on a bachelor party.
they yelled at me.
Yeah. Yeah, they were right into it early. They were coming from a party
In case
to
you
another party.
In case you missed it, apparently Flyers Reddit, which is a place I don't tend to visit, somebody posted, "Is Russ Joy legit?" And those guys took it as, "Is Russ Joy a real person?" And so they were like, "Oh my God, he's real!" They had a really nice time. They're out for apparently of that bachelor party. 2 guys have weddings 2 weeks apart.
Really?
I don't know if it was a joint bachelor party or if it was another, like one of the two. But yeah, 2 of those guys get. So we wish the best to the
bachelors,
the grooms to be.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, I think. Oh, look at this, John S. Kennedy, not John F. Kennedy. John S. Kennedy says NBC Sports Philly interviewing Darth Vladar. He blames himself for both goals. No,
He's a humble guy.
Humble guy.
how the hell could he blame himself on the first one? Remember that?
There was nothing he could do.
That was like
on
the flurry of 6 shots, and he got to like 4 of them right, and I think somebody else blocked a shot, and like, no, that's not on him. Somebody needs to give that man.
And the shootout, you never take blame on the shootout. I mean, the guy made a good move on it. It's hard. Eventually, someone's going to score.
I mean, he was 2 for 3. Did his job.
One could argue that he did. Adam Fantilli, though, future Flyer, offer sheet, baby.
That'd be great.
Offer sheet. You give up 4 firsts, right?
Yeah,
I would too. So would Bill.
Yeah.
We talked about it. If you missed it, we did an episode of Snow the Goalie on Thursday. Talked a lot about restricted free agents. Bill Meltzer, lovely time. Go check that out in podcast feed. And of course, you can find the Press Row Show, YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Anthony SanFilippo will be back next Wednesday. We're at Chickies and Pete's in Northeast Philly. Come out and join us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Talk some puck. And
hopefully I can make that show because I have pregame that night. There's a game that night, that Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
You know what? We're gonna have fun out there.
I'll be in touch.
Yeah. Ant's gonna get the
Your people will talk to our people.
What's
Yeah.
what's that burger that
My people get in touch with your people.
What was that burger that Ant gets? Tailgate burger?
I think.
It has a crab cake on the burger.
Something like that.
It's
You know
like
what
a
Ant
surf
told?
and
You know what
turf.
Ant told Andrew?
What was that?
He doesn't go down to spring training for a vacation. He works all day long. He told me. That's what he told Andrew. It's not a vacation. I work all day.
It's not.
Whatever.
Hey, I know he's watching, and he's probably getting very frustrated now hearing this. But and we hope you have your
Watching spring training is not a full-time job.
We hope that you're having fun and you got to put your tootsies in the sand.
Or your banana hammock.
As you all drift off to sleep tonight, I want you to have the thoughts of the Flyers making the playoffs dancing in your head. And then right as they're about to make it in, right as Rasmus Ristolainen is about to play in his first playoff game after 800 regular season games without ever appearing in the postseason, Anthony SanFilippo crashes in his banana hammock. Let that be the image as you close your eyes and put your head on the pillow tonight. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Press Row Show. We'll talk to all of you next Wednesday on Snow the Goalie Radio. Have a great night, everybody.